priorities. That's what Jamel made a good point because of like what his ideals were, what the top points that he was.
That's what I'm saying. Like no one, all these parties or what, they're trying to make us like feed into a type of belief system. That's what it is really. Like it's either we pick Labour, we pick Conservatives, we pick Green Party, we pick this, we pick that. That's what I was trying to tell Jamel earlier today. Like, what about if you just feel like you're what's the word? What about if you just feel like your
views don't align with any?
Yeah, or your views align with a lot of them. Like one from each. What do you do?
What do you do?
Sticky one still.
Yeah, you know what you mean? You're like, oh, I like what they're saying, but
what do you
you just have to prioritize which one.
And they make all of these things. Yeah, I feel like they make all of these like systems because they say you should believe this, you should believe that, you do this. I really feel like politicians don't know anything. Honestly, I feel like they don't know, but they will never tell the public they don't know. That's why there's a little bit of a mess.
I feel like that's why Brexit was such a mess.
Exactly, because a lot of politicians don't know. They don't know. Hence why we're in such a mess. Why should we be in a mess if you actually know? It doesn't make sense.
I think politics, they know, obviously more than us, but I think you're still debating against anything. Like, for example, policies only come into place. Say, for example, we all make a decision on something that we want this, and then they go with the majority. So I think when you look at politicians, they are the face. Well, they are supposed to be the face of what the majority believe anyway. So that's why the Conservatives got in power now, for example, because they are the face of what people want. Exactly. So you can only see it like that. So I think they know all they can know. Because humans, we all gonna have different views, and they're just like us. They are humans, so they're gonna have different views. So they can only go to the House of Commons and debate on what we want, but they only get like the first view of what everyone wants. So I think they're not gonna know everything, but they can only know. They know everything on politics, but they still don't know how we think as a majority. So
deep is like.
Do you think? You go.
Deep is like this. Would you go into a battle, yeah? Would you fight someone when you don't know their abilities in fighting? You wouldn't do it. Because you don't know how good they are or how rubbish they are.
Sometimes you have to.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's the problem.
Yeah, you can't do that.
That's what I'm saying, but...
You need to know your
that's why I
enemies.
said to you,
that is the exact
I know you're alluding to Art of War, but can you know everything? All you can do... Like, I haven't even read that, but I just know like the basics of it. Like, can you fully know? All you can do is you have experience from all of these things that have happened in the past, and I've learned this, and this. I'm gonna do this and hope I get the result I want.
Yeah.
That's
the
politicians
will be the army generals, and then everybody else will be the soldiers.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take the high ground here because I know that I can do all of that. Do you know what I mean? Like all of these tactics and then whatever it will be. This is just an analogy.
But if you have an ambitious team,
you're not gonna know everything. You're just gonna know. You're just gonna know what you know and hope it works. Basically.
You can't.
If you have an ambitious team, yeah, I feel like you should like be successful in what you're trying to pursue. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna go way off topic, but I'm gonna relate it to something. I think it's gonna be relatable, innit? Like, say a well-run football club. Yeah. Like, let's say Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Like, they've been successful for God knows how long.
Yeah.
Because they have a strong team. Like, they have a strong board. Yeah, the infrastructure's strong. Yeah. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, man.
But even then, it's not perfect. Do you know why it's not perfect? Because you're right, they're a well-oiled machine, but they haven't won every Champions League they've competed in. They haven't won every Liga they've competed in. Yeah, they haven't won every Cup de Rey they've competed in.
Yeah, no word.
And they've put forward what they thought at the time was the best squad. The best squad in terms of on the pitch, back house, this psychologist, this physiologist, chef. Do you know what I mean? They've done what they thought was the best.
You're not always going to win, but long term.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Long term, obviously, like I said, they're a well-oiled machine, so they're gonna win a lot. They have won a lot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, do you feel like do you feel like Conservatives are a
oiled machine? I don't know. Cause I'll have to explain because how many? They are. In the recent, let's say the last 3 decades, how many times have they won the majority?
Didn't they go? Didn't they go into recession? Didn't Conservatives go into recession?
This is the thing, though, right? Because Labour was in power from '97 to 2010, but apart from that, Blair and then Brown. Yeah. But apart from that, the Conservatives have been in power more than any other party in the history of the UK.
Yeah.
Full stop. Since they were, since they started. But I wanted to ask you guys a question, because I think this is really important to what's being said here. Do you think people would vote for politicians if they told people what they actually knew?
Yes.
No.
No, but it's better. It's better.
It's better
to be well
to know the
informed.
truth.
It's better to be well informed.
But that could result in chaos.
I don't give it, but you're informed.
It could result in chaos.
You're informed. What is the point of
Exactly. I think there's no point in hiding stuff.
You've got like
No point in hiding stuff. But if everyone knew the truth,
Is it a hard decision?
We're still in a mess.
Exactly. Is it a hard decision?
So you might as well just say we don't. What do you think?
I would still vote
you don't
regardless
know.
if I knew fully what they do. I think keeping information, if knowledge is power, as they say, then keeping information is
I
pointless.
was going to say, Ben, when
Keeping
you
people
asked
in
that
the dark
question, you know
does
when
nothing.
you said if they told everything they knew, is that alluding to basically saying everything they don't know?
No, so it's more a fact of like all politics is just a series of really difficult decisions of give and take, right? And I just wonder, the main job of a political party is to win an election, firstly, and then help, in their eyes, the people that they feel should be helped.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind. But that's the point of a political party.
Yeah.
That's the point of a political party, because they feel that that what they represent is the best
Solution
to the problem.
Yeah,
the thing with it is that all of those come with really difficult decisions about if we spend money here, does it come away from there? If we don't spend money here, can we use it somewhere else? If we have more tax, can we spend that money? If we don't have more tax, do we lose that money? And a lot of it is to some extent guesswork, because it's a prediction. But the thing with it is that how many people, so the people want 50,000 new nurses, and they go, okay, but it costs 3 billion and we're going to have to take that out of the school budget. That's the thing that I'm getting. Like you have to get in power. First off, you have to win in order to deliver change. Right? You can't deliver change unless you win. But are you going to win? Just really seriously, with all the people that vote, are you going to win by telling them majority of things they don't want to hear?
No.
Yeah, but then that's the
But
same.
that's
Doing that
But
is the same reason why Corbyn lost in the first place.
Honest.
Corbyn, with what he wanted to change, how people saw it is he said that he was going to do certain things and didn't come through with it. So a lot of the things that he was stating turned out to not be true. So he's lost for the same reason why you could say the Conservatives have won. None of them really have
That's
told
what I
the
heard
truth.
on the radio this morning.
Corbyn, what he aligned himself with and the certain things
Which
he's done
was,
is the
he was
reasons
saying
why
he
he
wanted
lost.
to get rid of Brexit, but most people wanted Brexit, so why would you, apparently, that's what I
hard
heard,
one.
apparently it was political
That's
suicide
true.
going against it, is that true?
Well,
I
was going to say, because if the pollsters are saying that 52% of people back Remain parties and 48% back Brexit parties. So 52% of people backed Remain parties that had Remain in the EU as a policy.
Oh, that's after.
Right. So the Brexit. We're going to hear a lot about Brexit in the coming days, about why the Labour Party lost, and that will feed into it. Don't get me wrong, right? Yeah. And Brexit supporters got together and voted more cohesively than Remain voters did. That's just a fact. Yeah. But it's going to be other things as well. So we have to remember that. A lot of people didn't trust Corbyn to deliver his promises.
That's true.
Which I think is, ironic. We now have a Prime Minister who's been fired for lying twice. As a journalist and as an MP, so that's it. It is what it is. Yeah.
Today.
That's crazy. No. In general, he said when he was
a journalist,
he got fired. And when he was
a member of Parliament as a cabinet, he got fired for lying.
He got fired.
Imagine this morning he was so gassed.
But it's one of those things. That's what I mean. People have just gone out and voted for in a majority. Somebody who's telling them things that may not be true. Somebody who's got a historical track record of not telling the truth. Now they might believe that's right or wrong. I'm not here to say either way. But what I'm saying is, I'm not sure that people want it. People want to hear that it'll get Brexit done. Right? Yeah. Do people necessarily who believe in Brexit want to hear the negative side of that? Are they going to vote for him if he starts saying, "Well, I'll get Brexit done, but these are all the sacrifices that you're going to have to make to do it"?
Yeah. They're going to say they just want the pleasantries.
And that's
just like eating meat. You don't want to know how it was killed, but you want the end result, don't you?
Yeah, but someone that has a track record of lying. Like, how are you Labour leader?
It's a mess. It's an absolute mess.
And plus, furthermore, they've got the least amount of seats since like 1930s. So shouldn't like he step down or something?
Cool,
Like,
bro.
surely he should have to step down.
Yeah, what's gonna happen to him because they lost so badly?
I mean, it's one of those things. They've already made a statement saying he won't fight the next election, but there'll be 5 years most likely until the next election.
Oh, by then so much will change.
So he may stay in for a little bit until somebody else is chosen. He may choose to leave straight away. He's saying all we know is that he's not going to be there in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
From what you said and what I've ascertained so far, it's like what you're saying is like give and take. You have to take from here to do that. It's just like basketball, isn't it? Like for the basketball, because having like your cap space, like you might get this max player, but what are you gonna have to give up on your bench what are you gonna give up on your bench basically
to get that player?
To have that player's wage structure.
I think it all circulates back to what I said before. Like they don't know anything about human aspirations. That is why there's a mess. They don't know anything about what this nation wants at all.
That's why people like us need to become MPs, then, isn't it?
That's why I said they go into power and then they decide what they feel in their eyes is best. They don't know
But let's always then imagine when then again just on the other side, just to play devil's advocate.
Yeah, go on.
I still feel like people like us should become MPs, but then if I become MP, I'm not really going to be thinking about people like them, so they'll probably think the same.
What do you mean?
Like you're saying, they only see things through their eyes. Do you mean like through them as a person, or through them and their experiences? So they've come from middle class.
No, as in the parties, like what they feel is best for the nation.
Like why do you feel they don't know? Just like briefly.
Because if they knew what we want, then it wouldn't be such of a mess.
Because of their upbringing? Or?
No, I don't think it's because of the upbringing. I just feel like I don't know what it is. I just feel like they don't know what we want as a nation. They don't know what we want. They make these decisions and, like you said, hope for the best. That's what I'm saying. Like if they knew what we really wanted, I don't know how they're going to do it, but there should be a way for us to express ourselves as a nation to say that we want this, we want that, we want that. But I feel like
politics is the only way to do that. Like the voting way, I personally think is the only way to do that. Because if you think about it, no matter what policies that they put in, you're not gonna please everyone. You're just not.
Yeah, so that's what I was about to say.
Whether they
can't
can
please
like
everyone.
every view that we all have here sitting here,
then someone else
and somebody down the road is gonna be like, they don't think about.
I know.
They can't.
As I'm saying, as you go down
Let me ask a question. I was gonna say, well, for everyone really, firstly, Ben, and then we can.
We didn't even touch on living wage as well, which is
another thing, bro. That's what you're saying. Ben and Mike said an hour is an hour enough.
Yeah.
Is this politics? Gonna fit into an hour, bro.
Talk 20 minutes.
I was gonna say, what was the most successful? Has there been a successful term like for the majority of people that they thought it was success basically?
Well, has there been a successful?
Yeah. When was the last successful term?
Who knows, fam?
The only government that people really, and we'll talk after World War II because everything changed after World War II, right?
I can imagine.
So after 1945, the only government that people don't really attack in that entire time is the one that came straight after the war, the Labour government. Of course,
I can just imagine
that's the one that set up the NHS. That's the one that did a lot of pensions. It was Labour. Clement Attlee was the Prime Minister at the time.
But
then all that happened and they were in power for 4 years and then they immediately got voted out.
Why?
Because everyone was happy with how they were doing.
No, let's change. Let's try
something new. And then Churchill got back in again. A lot of people don't know that, but he got back in afterwards. But then there's been other really successful governments. People of governments or parties that have won 3 terms in a row. The Conservatives under Margaret Thatcher and then John Major, they won 3 in a row. And then Labour as well. After that, Tony Blair. After that was really successful.
Probably the most besides Churchill, famous Prime Minister. Everyone knows
Tony Blair.
But then we drop in the Iraq War. Then we drop in the Iraq War, and all of a sudden, that's it.
He's making all decisions. Why are you backing him? And all of that.
Exactly. So it's and Margaret Thatcher. I mean, I'm sure you guys must have heard negative press about Margaret Thatcher, especially in London in Labour constituencies. So it's one of those things. A lot of people really love Margaret Thatcher. A lot of people really love Tony Blair, but a lot of people don't. And there's some of the most successful ones.
Nothing lasts forever.
Yeah.
Word.
So
I think a lot of people when they talk about success, I think a lot of people's like money driven, so they look at the power. We're obviously in a recession now. Like that's the long and short of it.
Not really.
It's simple.
We'll have one next year.
I say
2 years. I think
the times that we're in now is a recession, and I feel like the more the pound goes up, the more people are going to say
I wanted to ask.
They've obviously done well.
One, like, before, just the last thing to say on that topic, I just feel like when you were saying the first government was very popular after the World War, they brought in the NHS, it's like you see you're happy in one thing, then you see something different, like something different always looks sexy. So that's why people went to the next thing. As simple as that.
People like change.
It's as simple as
humans, we wanna evolve in it.
Yeah, but people like change. But when it's not broken, don't fix it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
If it ain't broke,
That's it. But people like change, and when it blows up in their face, they try to go back, but it's too late.
it's one of those things again, though. It's like this is why the one message that I want everyone to take away about politics is never trust somebody who gives you a simple answer to a politics question, right? Because it's never simple. Because if we talk about if a government came in and said, actually, you know what, everything's really good, so we're just not going to do anything. Yeah. Not going to change anything. Actually, we're just going to keep going. Do you think people would accept that? I don't think people would accept that.
Yeah, but that's if you clearly see that it's not good.
That's what I mean. So
yeah, of course, yeah. But I don't mind accepting a simple answer if you can see that things are good. Like, I don't mind. I just don't want the lying. I don't mind if a politician gives me a simple answer to a question if we can see that things are actually happening and changing and working. But it's when they're giving you a simple answer and you can see in the background that things are not working.
I get what he's saying. I get what you mean. But what he's basically saying is politics is not simple. So if they're giving you a one-liner, let's say, for example, don't trust that person.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
That's what when you say simple answer, I hear lie.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like they're deliberately or not deliberately. It depends on the person. I'm not going to cast them all in the same light. They're deliberately or not deliberately concealing something that is the negative of what they're saying.
Yes.
And it might not be the negative for you as well. It might not be the negative for like 90% of the people, but it might be the negative for the 10%.
Yeah, I get it. The last thing was, now we're talking about money. Let's get back to money. What are the main differences that are going to happen in terms of after Brexit? In terms of, unless we might not even know. I don't even know if you know.
Prices of food prices.
Yeah, not even that. Not even that. That's like pound to euro. Just that if you're traveling to Europe,
stocks have increased straight away.
What's the price?
That was expected. If the Conservatives win, obviously the people with the money, it makes sense that obviously more money is gonna. It's easier for people. It's just like Trump. Really, the US dollar went up when he was elected because I remember when it comes to stocks, it changes by a lot of the things that's going on. So people that make sense for the rich, it's always gonna go up. So that's an environment. Immediately, it's gone up.
A lot of the currency speculation has to do with uncertainty. So what I want to say is that whoever was elected last night, if they won a majority, the pound would have gone up.
Yeah.
To some degree, it might not. It might be less or more.
Bet it will go up.
That's good for us here.
It's good for some things and bad for other things. This is again, it's not a simple answer. If you're trying to buy things from other places, then the pound being strong is really good. If you're trying to sell things to other places, your prices might be a little bit high now, right? So that's it. So again, it's always this give and take. That's why I'm talking about don't accept the simple answer.
Yeah.
And it would have gone up because of certainty. So people now know that there's a Conservative government, so they think they can make plans. And if they make plans, then people can invest in them. And it means that the value of the pound is stronger, right? But it would have been the same if Corbyn had won, because they would have thought that, there's a Labour government for now, we can make a plan as to what he said he's going to do, and then we can execute on that.
I don't think that is true, though.
This is all short term.
I get what you're saying about uncertainty, but also, if Corbyn did win, then he did say by 6 months he wants another EU referendum. That to me doesn't scream certainty. So I think from that, maybe the pound might have not gone up as much, even as much.
Straight away. I agree with what you're saying.
Short-term thing.
It's by degree.
We'll never lie in a couple of years, bruv.
Yeah, because with that, it can go either way.
And he may have never ran.
People bet on that.
Exactly, he might have just ran with the policies that he wanted to do anyway. Yeah. So,
if it had been a hung parliament, then the pound would have dropped.
Definitely.
Nothing happens. What's that?
People pulling out their money
when you've got two,
that's when there's no majority. Yeah. So that
like when the Lib Dems and Conservatives had a hung party.
They had a coalition, yeah.
What was that when it was Drake? What was that again?
Yeah.
Coalition.
Yeah.
Here it bears.
I remember that.
That's when you were into an official agreement, though. Right, that's different from last time where the DUP and the Conservatives worked together. The Lib Dems and the Conservatives had an official signed.
Yeah.
You know, sat down and said, "This is what we're going to do."
Tyson, you say you had questions. You had more. What do you feel like?
No, I don't feel we've touched on everything, but I just don't have a question in my head. If someone obviously brought it.
Oh, there's loads of stuff. That's what I'm saying. You could go on for 2 hours. But...
What would you talk about money? Is that the only thing?
Yeah, that's what I had. Well, in terms of money, that was the only question I had. Jamel had a whole other topic, but I don't even know if you've got a minute to.
What topic is that? I think we finished at like 35.
I didn't even have another topic. I do think though, a lot. Like I think all parties are missing the point on the environment. I think on the environment as well.
Of course.
That's a hard. I need to research.
I think
that
that is a major aspect on where we're going. I don't think none of them touch on global warming and everything else. Green Party, but Green Party's not gonna win. For the foreseeable future, they're not gonna win. So it's hard to. The only thing the Green Party do is take seats from Labour and Conservatives, because it's always a two-horse race. But I do think
the
environment is overlooked.
Become vegan.
And nobody cares. Nobody cares because it's not in their time. Exactly.
It's just
who knows what it's going to be like in 2060 or whatever.
Oh mate, I was looking at the rubbish. I was watching something on Netflix about recycling. How the system is so flawed. About recycling. Oh my god!
I can't even remember. It was on one of these kind of programs I watched on Netflix.
It's a start, though. It's just a start.
Like the progress we made, like we didn't think about the effect that's gonna have on the planet.
Yeah.
Surely they just need to start like making like plastics.
Everything should be biodegradable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, what they've done wrong is that they started this recycling system, but not everything can be recycled. That is only two certain things can be recycled, and we're still putting things in a recycling box that we think is recyclable, but it ends up messing up the whole environment because it can't be recycled. So they need to change that whole plan. And only make us. It's so crazy that this is mad. It's so mad.
Any facts about that on the podcast? What's it called?
No such thing as a fish.
Yeah, bro, you lot need to listen to that.
No such thing.
No such thing as a fish. It's sick still.
Yeah.
But bare different vegans.
I want to say that the Green Party came up with a lot of policies about how to help the environment that would impact people's travels, people's money,
and
impact in a negative or positive.
Negative way.
So in a way that would put people out. I guess is the best way of putting it. Not necessarily negative. Like in the future, it might help their health, right? But it's for now, it might stop them from driving to work, driving a certain car, paying more tax on different kind of things. Only they said they had a policy of making people only take one flight a year or making it really expensive in tax,
That's
right?
not even practical.
Yeah, but that's
what
that's what I'm saying.
No, I don't think it would.
It would though.
There's way more
if
things
everyone
we
had
can
to
do.
take one flight a year.
It's not practical because
Deep it just as simple as this.
No, but
say
listen,
for example,
you don't have to compromise happiness just for the environment.
That's not. It's not
practical.
It's not practical, and it's not going to happen. That's why people don't.
No, but what I'm saying is not practical. Just that it doesn't make sense at all. Because there's way more things, we could do to help the environment than that. There's way more.
I get it.
You should compromise your happiness.
That's a start, isn't it?
No,
it's a start.
Taking one flight a year.
It's a start.
No chance.
It's a start.
Everything is a start. It's not going to
I get what you're saying. I don't want to do that. But think about how much flights. That's probably
deep it.
Cause the most pollutants planes.
Of course.
I'm not trying to do that still.
What I'm trying to say is that your happiness, you should not compromise your happiness for the environment. What I'm saying is that we could do way more than do the plane stuff. I think we could do way more.
but you can get to the where you need to go by other means. It's longer, it's more inconvenient, but it would save the planet.
They're making jet fuel out of plastic.
How are we getting to what? Can we get to Australia by a boat?
Let me draw a wider point, right? There's 5 of us here. We all agree that the environment's a really important issue. Something should be changed.
Are we willing to?
We can't agree on what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Imagine you've got to represent 70 million people. That's what I'm saying about politicians. We say they're in this mess, but this is actually something that we all agree on, let alone something we don't agree on.
Yeah.
We all agree on it, but what the next thing is what?
We don't know how to
fix it. We agree what the issue is, but we don't agree what the solution is.
Exactly.
But we just have to be step-by-step process.
That's why you can't.
But what I'm saying to you is...
But which steps in what order? That's the point.
Because to get the order, we haven't... What progress have we even made? I feel like personally, since I've been able to vote, I don't even see what has happened in this country at all. What have we benefited from? What benefited from? What have we benefited from since we've been able to vote from 17, 18 we vote from? What is it? I don't know what it is, but I don't know what changes we have seen. Have you seen the change since you've been? Have you seen the change?
I don't feel like I've
uni prices have gone up.
Oh Jesus Christ! 3 grand to fucking 9 grand. I thought we'd have been spoken about that. Jeez, how did that happen? Went up by 3 times, bro. Not even in graduates. By that, boom. 9 grand.
And this is, I guess, this is where the disconnect comes from, because we just had the most important election and the most important referendum ever in the history of the UK, and now we're saying that it's not impacted any of us. That's where the disconnect comes. People need to explain that better to people, how that it has impacted you. All this has impacted you. It might be imperceptible to you right now, but it's all impacted you. Maybe negative, maybe positive in some ways.
Yeah.
But it's all impacted you. But maybe we don't yet. That's the point. There's always a time lag on decisions.
I guess so. But the last election, you could say that it was the most important then. I mean, the one before that, you could say that the most important then. I mean,
no, but you can only talk about your lifetime, really. Because that's what the question you asked, isn't it? We can only talk about what's
we're not saying that there's not a change, we just don't see it. Like I said, because as someone that's not heavily focused on politics, I know bits here and there. The main thing that I know is, like we said, is the uni fees have gone up.
Because we experienced it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know.
I mean,
that's why I feel like
there's a lot of house stuff that's happened. House
prices,
all of that stuff has impacted
stuff. But I mean, the intricacies.
That's what I'm saying. So we don't really see it until
everyone should. I just feel like
we actually
be part of our life. The same way how I know about whatever United and football. I feel like I want to have that same.
Well, you want to be well informed.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously I can go out and get that myself, but I feel like it should just be. I don't know, man.
A politician,
second nature. It should be innate. I feel like
the politician's job, innit?
Yeah, but
it should be innate.
Solskjaer's not going to tell you to support Man City. We have to go out and, to some degree ourselves, to go out and get that knowledge.
It's true.
It's true, because what's going on, going off topic again, what's going on at Arsenal?
Yeah.
The board is just
just crumbling.
Just crumbling, you know what I mean? So it's just but you, we don't, as a
fan,
normal fan,
yeah. You don't know
if you go out,
if
you actually go out and do your research, then you know. You know what I mean? So
Arsenal.
What can we just to finish off? Can we what can we agree on? What can we say to end off? I don't know how to put it, but what can we say just to end off so we can end this?
I feel more informed. I feel like
same.
I feel more informed, and I feel like I should go out of my way to learn more. And then for the next vote, for me personally, like I said at the beginning, I just voted Labour because my parents were voting Labour.
Okay.
So moving forward, in 5 years' time, in the next election is my vote. Even though I might not be happy with it, because like I said, it's difficult. I just feel like I'll be voting with a bit more
zest,
vim. Yeah, because I know what I'm voting for, even though I'm not.
What I've taken from it is that if, say,
quick things, innit?
Yeah, say if I actually get informed of what's going on, say they're gonna implement a financial factor that could implement that could change, that could affect everyone in the next 5-10 years. Maybe I can figure out a plan to counteract, to make it benefit me. No way, so.
Tyson?
I mean, as long as I can see an effect or a change that benefits the nation as a whole, poor, middle class, upper class, whatever, that's all I want. I mean, I feel like even upper class people, they have a problem with something. I mean, everyone has a problem with something, but I feel like if the politicians understand human aspirations, like I said again, we won't be in such a massive mess. The politicians don't understand what we want at all.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what I have to say, bro.
What I want to leave and say is we need to all step outside, rich, poor, middle class, it doesn't matter. We need to step outside our bodies and just have sympathy and understanding for everyone.
Exactly.
Regardless of what you want to come in. If you have a lot of money, then tax shouldn't be an issue to help other people. Let's stop taking a few people and running with it, saying that they don't want to work, so it doesn't make sense for you to take your money. And at the same time, if you aren't working, get off your ass and go and work and stop feeling sorry for yourself and thinking people need to give you money.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, money matters, but it doesn't matter. We're all humans and we need to just relate to each other, and that's about it.
Yeah. Don't complain either.
Ben, you want to end off on something?
Yeah, there's just two quick things that I want to say. The first is always try and self-evaluate your own opinions.
Of course.
Because you might not be right. So go out and do some research and think about it. And end on what I said before, don't trust anybody with a simple answer.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.